So I gave up. I put it back in the fridge.
Damn, that's heartbreaking.
The next day, I get up and I'm like, all right, let me try this again. Let me see what I need to break out. I pull the jar of peaches out. I just pick it up out of the fridge, and it's just like...
No way. No way.
It just opened effortlessly.
What was it, like just a change in...
the only thing I can think of is that it getting colder must have had something to do with it.
That would do the trick, I think.
It was like the right thing contracted.
Right. Yeah, I'm no genius, but that sounds right to me.
I get the sticker that I just recently found about my catalytic converter having an explosive device attached to it from you, or did I?
That was mine, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a
I was like, I either got this from Bill or I got this for Bill and forgot to give it to him, and I don't remember which.
I mean, it could have been a for me situation. I feel like I can't be the only person who's ever thought to put that on a bumper sticker.
No, I'm pretty sure now that I think of it, I got it from you. I got a new cooler, so I was adorning it with the stickers I've been saving for a new cooler.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, it's Sunday, September 14th, which is crazy. It's like that's the middle of the month, and it's just no way. It doesn't feel like the middle of the month.
It just happens somehow.
Yeah, the time is just robbed from us. I wish that like days could be 36 to 48 hours, but you only sleep for like 5.
Yeah.
I feel like I could get a lot more done that way.
Yep, a 4-day, 2-day weekend where you sleep for 5, but you feel like you slept for 10.
Yeah. Because my creative process, such as it is, I need about 4 times the amount of work to just like zone out, basically. Just like go into dormant mode.
Well, you got a thinking man's job, and you gotta give yourself that time.
That is the most important thing about having a thinking man's job. I've discovered in these couple of years of having one is the hardest thing and the most important thing is not thinking. To just turn the thinking off.
Yeah. I started to tell you a little bit before you turned the recorder on, but that was a little bit of my yesterday. I woke up and just decided that it was like a weird happenstance of events. I saw that Cordella's was doing a pop-up at a farm, Cordella's Coffee, and I saw that the farm still had blueberries, and I was like, that's really late to have blueberries, but I believe that this is going to happen. Oh, yes.
What is blueberry season? I feel like a real nincompoop.
I feel like it's late for blueberry season. I feel like blueberry season is like July into August. June, July. Yeah.
Yeah, like an early summer kind of deal.
Especially in this area. And the place I was going was in Stowe, so it was a little, it's a little north of here, but
Vermont,
not really.
Or?
No, Mass.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, here's a great outdoor cats rule. I have no idea what number this is. And we're gonna have to have we got to get an intern to track these down.
It feels like 6.
6. Outdoor cats rule number 6. When they zig, you zag. So here's what I did. I saw that this place is an apple picking place. I didn't know how big it was. It's huge, as it turns out. So I drove up, and the place is packed. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there, but they are all apple picking.
Right.
So they're zigging, I'm zagging. I'm going for the blueberries.
You're going for the blue. So what are you just finding some like found blueberries, like going through the thorn bushes at the edge of the property? And
no, they have a couple patches,
Okay,
but you know, by this time of year, everybody's out doing their you know, it's too late to do blueberry Instagrams, I guess.
Right.
So everybody was doing their apple Instagrams, and
it's like the Labor Day rule.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't do blueberry grams after.
Can't do blueberry grams after Labor Day.
No, yeah.
But here I was out in the basically unmolested late blueberry fields, just picking away. If I have to do you-pick, and I'll say I'll probably upset some people, I think apple picking is stupid, and I don't do it. But
I hope Katie doesn't listen to this.
Oh, sorry, Katie.
She's been champing at the bit to go apple picking.
I'll pick berries, but I'll pick berries because then I can pick them exactly to my specifications. So
right.
I spent, you know, an hour and a half out there picking only the best perfect blueberries, a 2-quart container. And yeah, I'm out there just by myself, and the bugs are buzzing around. There's someone flying like an antique biplane really low over the farm, like over and over again. It was awesome.
It's like the beginning of 1917.
Yeah. Well,
not really.
It's like the very, very beginning before the bodies start to fall.
Yeah. Me and Katie watched that movie recently.
It's so good.
It's the best war movie ever.
Yeah, it really is. It's a
Brits
big mood.
We're like, I see you're Saving Private Ryan. Let me do the same exact plot, but like 10 to 15 times cooler.
Yeah.
Take that, Spielberg.
Seriously, the lighting and the shooting of that movie are impeccable. I believe it literally won awards for that.
Yeah, the long shots, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's some shots in that movie that are like 30 minutes long, like of continuous tape playing. It's crazy.
But
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my zone out time this weekend. I just went to
just picking those berries.
Went to a blueberry patch and just picked blueberries and just listened to the world happen around me and didn't think about anything but blueberries.
Awesome, that is awesome. My not thinking time was going to the Worcester Public Library and setting up my Scantron 69000 and just taking a picture of every single file in the clipping file for state mutual life insurance, which when we have the time, and I need to do this soon, when we have the time to actually sit down and do the narrative podcast of 290, that gets its whole episode, dude, because State Mutual was like the evil overlords of Worcester, and their decision to move from downtown to Lincoln Street, like, fucked the city up beyond repair, because it came at the same exact time, you know, wink wink, hint hint, coincidentally, that 290 went in. It's like, the highway that the state funded just so happens to go directly from Holy Cross to the new gleaming headquarters of the most prestigious business in the city. That's crazy.
Through a neighborhood of historical black property ownership.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So there was one clipping in that file regarding the 1970 race riot that happened at Plumley Village, or 1972, whatever it is. And the fucking Telegram, dude. Ain't this story the same? They called it a Vietnam War demonstration.
No shit.
They called it a Vietnam War demonstration, despite the fact that they quoted people in the article being like, "Mr. Plumley, get out here right now. You know, you have ruined this neighborhood. It is very much a protest about the destruction of the Laurel Clayton neighborhood." Telegram runs crazy cover for Plumley and State Mutual by calling it a Vietnam War demonstration.
Wow. I did not know that.
It's I have the pictures. It's pretty remarkable. It's the moment I'm thinking of is in the cut line of the photo of police officers beating up black people It's just like, that's something that's also happening. We'll just say it was that. Or just like the reporter was just like the kind of drunk that you could only get when you were like a 40-year-old guy in the late 60s, early 70s.
When you could walk from your office to the place,
Right.
You didn't have to. You didn't have to try to stumble into your car.
You had an office girl transcribe it, plug in all the quotes, and you're just like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I think it was probably because of the war. But yeah, this morning I wrapped up a pretty cool story that will hopefully be in a neat little Kickstarter-based newspaper coming up, but it's on the smiley face and the real origin story, and I won't spoil it, but that was my activity all this week, and I basically tuned out everything else to work on that story because it's a nice opportunity. And I picked maybe the best week of the year so far to not pay attention to anything.
Yeah. I've seen a couple bits and bobs from this piece, and folks, you're really gonna love it. It's gonna be great. I don't know what happened this week. I don't know any gentle way to go into it. So
it's not like anybody like. Okay, I can't even do it.
Yeah.
It's not like anybody.
Like anyone got shot or anything.
It's not like anybody died or anything like that.
No, that'd be crazy. That'd be turning up the temperature over and over and over again, higher and higher, as it feels like it just will not stop happening.
It's not like there was a shooter from the same internet community as every other shooter.
Yeah.
Doing another shooting.
Yep. It's pretty something. And
isn't America supposed to have like a department, like a federal department, like a bureau maybe that like investigates, domestic unrest?
Yeah. And it's run by a guy named Kash Patel, and it seems like he's doing a heck of a job, Kash.
See, it's like we know exactly where all these guys are.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know, they post the same memes as you if you're Kash Patel, so...
Yeah, man.
You can't fault them for not looking into it because they're based, basically.
I happened to wake up at the exact right time to watch the 7 a.m. press conference the day that they announced that they caught the guy, and I don't think I'd really seen Kash Patel in his current role very much. Man, he doesn't look... It doesn't suit him. It doesn't look like it suits him. He looks like a fish, very out of water. He has the look of... a hostage who might be attempting to blink a message at any moment. He looks a little out of his element, we could say.
He's probably getting worked so hard by the deep state. They're like, okay, now it's time to sign a bunch of papers. Don't bother. Don't read them.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
just sign them.
Yeah, we took care of it.
Yeah, just sign them. All right, thanks, Kash Patel for the Predator drones, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
So nice of you to give raises to everyone. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much to say about it, except for the exceedingly annoying impulse we all seem to collectively, like, 80% of the nation has to just forget everything that somebody like that guy did in his life as soon as he dies in a shocking way. Like the across the board project to make a martyr out of this fucking terrible person. It's like, I don't understand why we have to do that.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. It feels weird to me. I just get this sinking feeling every time where it feels like there's a lot of people who still desperately want to believe that the genie can be put back in the bottle of, like, everything that's sort of happening and exploding and unfurling in the world right now. And I'm sorry to tell you, I really don't think it can. I think we're the ball is already rolling quite quickly down the hill.
Yeah.
And I guess, the only reason I thought it might make sense to talk about this a little bit is there is a bit of a local nexus to some of this story, which is that right after everyone fell over themselves to say, of course, political violence is wrong. It's always wrong. Even, I don't know, in the cases where it makes things better, and then we can say it's right, but only in the past. It can't happen now. That's only history where that can happen.
Right.
But that, I get a look at, I guess, what people consider to be political violence. I don't need to go pull a bunch of heinous Charlie Kirk quotes out. If you want to see them, they're easy to find.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been inundated with them, and if you don't want to see them, then nothing I can do.
I'll link Andrew, not to interrupt you too much, but Andrew Quimir, friend of the newsletter, friend of the show, he wrote a really good sort of takedown of the Boston Globe's hagiographic sort of op-ed about how we need more Charlie Kirks in the world. It's such a crazy thing to say. Oh my God. But he did there's a nice wall of text in there that is just a pinch of the horrific things this guy has said. So we'll link to that.
Yeah, it got me thinking about, again, I guess it got me thinking about what we consider to be political violence in this country, or I guess in the world, but in particular in this country. And I think that is, if you could take this moment in time that, by the way, none of us can do anything about, we're all bystanders here. We have no control over what's going on at that level of things right now. And falling over yourself to, try to turn the temperature down on your social media, I'm sorry to tell you, is probably not doing anything, including making you feel better, actually. Maybe it does. I don't know. But
I don't think it does. hard to believe.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. People have I think if you can get anything out of it, it would be to think about what political violence actually is, because it certainly is shooting a politically prominent, right-wing proto-fascist speaker, a person who was close personal friends with a number of people in this administration, and was, instrumental in the election and re-election of Donald Trump, and in all of the things that we're seeing happening around the country. Is it political violence to make an Apocalypse Now style meme of Chicago and tell them that you're going to bring war to their city and to other cities? Is it political violence to aid and abet a genocide, as we have unfortunately had to talk about every week, et cetera, et cetera? Is it political violence to essentially sign tens or so thousands of people's death warrants by essentially cutting the guts out of Medicaid, which we've done and will be taking effect in the next few years? Or to bring it back here, is it political violence to say oppose an ordinance that would require sprinklers to be put into buildings of 4 or more housing units in a city where we have a whole ass monument to all of the people who have died in fires in this city, and also another whole ass monument to the number of firefighters who have died in this city trying to save people in fires? I don't know. Is that political violence?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I pulled some tape. I'll pull the tape up. and I want to include the audio of one specific moment from Tuesday from Kate Toomey, and apparently not just Kate Toomey, but the 6 people on the city council that keep the city council from doing anything productive or good or worthwhile. All seem to go into Tuesday's meeting in alignment on this sort of strange line that the sprinkler ordinance was symbolic, because it's kind of sort of nominally covered by a separate building code that covers the same things. So this is getting into territory where it's so in the weeds and it's so niche of a difference that to get into the nitty gritty of it is actually like counterproductive. It's like that's the trap you fall into. The city manager and the fire chief, when this was rolled out, were like, yeah, there's no reason not to pass this, and that Kate Toomey turned that into a political football by being like, well, if there's no reason not to pass this, then there's no reason to pass it. And it was really funny, and I don't have this clip pulled up, but Mo Bergman spilled the beans in a major way that I don't know many people caught. But he, after literally 2 hours of everyone insisting that the sprinkler thing, it wouldn't be changed if we voted no on this. It wouldn't be changed. It wouldn't be changed. It wouldn't be changed. Mo Bergman lets it slip in hour 3 that there's an appeal process that favors landlords in the building code that doesn't exist in the fire code. So actually, the fire code would supersede the building code, and that's definitely the animating factor of whoever got them all to stake the rest of their political futures on this transparently monstrous position. Being like, we don't need to overregulate these landlords. It's not like it's a problem. Deadly fires are a problem in the city, right? So that was funny. That Mo Bergman, the self-styled genius, is the only one to tell the truth for 2 seconds.
By accident.
Just because he got so worked up, because he had to get up for a third time after Attell was making too many good points. Oh, man. Imagine being Mo Bergman and listening to Attell make good points, and you're like, oh, only I can do that. And because in his mind, he's being like, I'm spitting hot fire.
Oh, yeah.
But it's always the dumbest bullshit. And then he says the exact thing that mass landlords definitely didn't want him to say, right? he said the one thing that completely obliterated the premise of Kate Toomey's argument. It's very funny. Very funny. But Kate Toomey, God, it's hard to find a specific example of someone being more cruel to a city official than Kate Toomey was to Chief Dyer, the fire chief. She asked him a series of leading questions that had to do with the prospect of people dying in a fire in the future. And she was basically like, so what you're saying is that that no one will die in a fire in the future because we vote no on this ordinance? Literally asking questions like that in that leading of a fashion. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I missed most of Kate's stuff. I've only seen bits and pieces of this, actually. I had some stuff to do that night and turned on the Worcester Council stream at, 9-ish, and was really hoping you guys would be not there, but you still were.
We were there. I actually called it. I usually will finish a meeting, but this one I was like, no way, because they started talking about parking minimums. at like 10:30, and I was like, nope, I just can't do this. Literally cannot listen to these people.
I got like a half an hour in, and I was like, I'm just not ready for this yet. Like, I'm not ready for summer to end in this specific way, where I have to start watching city council meetings for hours on Tuesdays.
And I haven't been able to revisit it since until this moment, this specific moment, because it just makes me feel so tired. But it really was like sort of like the pristine example of the strange pack mentality that the 6 crank candidates or crank counselors operate in, where they don't start anything from like a belief, right? They like the start of their position is always animated by just like, how does this reassert my authority over somebody else? How can I use this to bludgeon somebody else into submission? They don't actually believe anything they're saying.
Yeah. No, they're always working backwards from there.
They don't have beliefs. And that's a perfect way to just cue in how Kate Toomey talks in this video is unreal. And I did a funny
adoption would be symbolic, which we have passed. I've brought forward a resolution to make sure that the citizens of Worcester know that we support the fire department and fire safety. That's symbolic. It's not adding an extra layer. It's not confusing what's already there. The chief has said very clearly that it supersedes the.
She can't even like articulate what she means.
Well, Candy walked more than 3 feet away from her, and that's when their powers start to wane on this topic.
The requirement.
She just starts reading randomly from like a random point in the city report.
Okay, I'm sorry.
A city report that argues in favor of
this
this
measure reaffirms the municipality's established commitment to fire prevention and public safety as current building codes and enforcement practices already meet or exceed the standards outlined in 26I. So, again, I guess I want to ask, just for clarification, passing to the chief, and I'm sorry to ask you to come back up again, but will this statute will not have literal material benefits to our housing stock, our residents' lives, or those of our firefighters, correct? It will not have any literal material benefits.
What?
Chief? Through the chair to the counselor, adoption of this, again, the building code, as I've stated in my communications, the building
second
code,
question that's about to come is even better.
Let's go back a little bit, right?
Yep.
When 26I was adopted, the building codes were not where they are today.
Correct.
In the intervening years, and that made the adoption of 26I really important, right, and impactful. Mm-hmm. In the ensuing years, the building code has been updated. It caught up to 26I and has since surpassed 26I. Mm-hmm. So if the building code is being applied appropriately, it should not have an impact.
So this, adopting 26I will not save any lives. Current code supersede, correct?
Through the chair to the counselor, that's a tough question. That's I don't think.
I think what you meant to say, Chief, is that's a dumb question.
I don't feel I'm qualified to answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes, I don't feel qualified to answer
So
that.
I would say you couldn't say that it
She
would.
tries again.
So, at any rate, I'm just saying that this statute has no impact on the safety of our firefighters. By not passing it, we have not put a single firefighter at risk.
Is that a question? It's a question? And then she looks up at the chief, being like, that's a question.
Yeah, I just want to step in here real quick. I think
Finally,
the question
Eric
that is being asked at this moment, it could potentially imply, right, that if we don't have a sprinkler system in the 4 units or more based on extensive renovations, substantial renovations, and the fires in this sprinkler system is not on or is not put into these units, there's a potential risk if there was a fire and firefighters would be exposed to that, could there be a potential life risk? I think that's the real question. And the question could be yes or no, depending on
There's
the
no real
actual
answer.
fire itself, right? And so there's been situations where there's been fire, the fire department has done a great job. Their tactics as part
When
of the strategic
Eric
plan
Batista
has shifted a lot of
has
their
to
tactics and the way they operate and manage
interpret your
fires.
question, you know things are
and I
going
think that's something
really,
that has
really
been
well.
a model for Worcester, that's been across the state and across the nation.
And he
But
and the fire
it's
chief
a
are on
what if.
record being like, there's no
It's a
reason
what
not
if,
to
right?
adopt
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And I think
It-
that
it,
is the
like,
risk that
it covers,
we collectively,
gaps
as a city
in our-
administration,
our-
city's
our
council,
fire or
need
sprinkler
to
coverage that,
understand and then make a
we don't
decision
cover right
based
now.
on that risk. Is this something that we want to mitigate that risk? Is it
And it gets
not?
into really-
And that's a collective decision that we have to make.
Oh, I
The
think
current
there's one
building
more.
codes meet and/or exceed what 26I would bring. So I feel very comfortable with the current building codes and the city, the state and city building codes. And again,
That's
as
a
I
good
said,
clip for
we
future reference.
definitely
I feel very
affirm
comfortable.
support for the fire department, and I think that we need to focus on those things and move forward. And I want to thank the
Move
chief for
forward.
all of his work.
Move forward. Like, I love it when they use that term. It's like, what do you mean?
Thank you, Mr.
I just think
Chairman.
we need to move forward by doing nothing.
I just think we need to move forward by of doing something objectively regressive. We need to get past this. so that for anyone keeping score, that is the side that won. The side that lost was the one. Attell got up and articulated very clearly that the building code doesn't do what they say that it's doing, and that in recent memory, there have been renovations and new building projects for housing units with 4 more units that didn't get sprinklers put in them. like that's why you have the fire and the building code, right? Because I don't know, people know how to get around the building code a little bit better than they know how to get around the fire code.
Yeah, fire code is definitely
It's a separate set of inspections.
right for a reason. For a reason that should be divorcing that part of the safety evaluation process as much as possible from the profit driving process or tax revenue collecting process.
Yeah, because the building code is not a safety code
No.
primarily. It's like a making sure that it's structurally sound and like assessed at the right whatever and all of that kind of stuff. It's not like its primary objective is not making sure that a building isn't like it doesn't present a deadly hazard to the people that live in it or the firefighters who, like, God forbid, would be made to go into it if there were people living in it that needed to be rescued.
Yeah, and
Such a ghoulish thing to argue against.
Right. I'm resisting the temptation to go super into the fire weeds here, except to say, like, sprinkler systems are a fire suppression mechanism. They don't necessarily. They don't exist necessarily to completely put out a fire that starts. A good example of this just happened, actually. The Midtown Mall fire. The Midtown Mall was sprinklered, I believe, in the renovation, actually. It may have been sprinklered before that. I'm not sure. But that was a fire where a fire started because of a lightning strike, and it got into the building to the point that the sprinklers were activated. And sprinklers are a good system to have when you have them, because the mechanism by which they activate is usually different than smoke detectors activate based on monitoring for particulate. It's why, like, dust or even like high humidity can set them off.
Right.
It's basically a particulate sensor, not a smoke sensor per se. Sprinklers are usually activated by heat. They usually have like a little wax cap in them, and that's what keeps them closed. And if it melts, the sprinkler opens up. So now you have an additional type of protection. Anyway, it kept the Midtown Mall fire suppressed until the fire department could get in there and deal with it. And I guess what's really important about this, or what I really want to say about this, is that there is a calculus at play here. There is a human life calculus. When Worcester was really, really aggressive with its interior firefighting techniques, it saved lives, it saved resident lives, and it cost firefighter lives. And when they've had to reassess through various limitations their ability to fight fires that aggressively, less firefighters have died and more residents have died. And that's the calculus that these people are asking you to do, when in fact we don't have to do it if nearly as much if we would just put the fucking fire suppression ordinances into place. But that's what they're asking you to do. They're asking you to go to the fire department and to the city and say, hey, do we want people who live in buildings to die in building fires, or do we want firefighters to die trying to get them out? Because that's what's going to happen. It's what happens always, everywhere.
It's just such a, it's like, the closest I can get to figuring out what animated this opposition is just like just landlords complaining.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact, I mean, I don't think it can be discounted that powerful Democratic political party operative and police union official and landlord Anthony Petroni owns a few 4-unit buildings. Right? I think that's the kind of guy who can get 6 votes on the city council for basically anything that he wants.
Yep.
And when you look at it that way, and there's not too many other good ways to look at it, what you're looking at here is like a textbook ready case of public corruption and malfeasance of the highest order. It just not on a very naturally salacious topic. Building code and fire code is not something that is usually a matter of controversy, right?
Yeah, and when people say things like, for example, that police unions aren't really real in the greater labor movement, and that they shouldn't get to have unions, and I see people like kind of scratch their heads and be like, "Ooh, well, why is that?" This is why. Like, this is in the weeds of why. Police unions have no solidarity with any other unions besides other police unions.
Yeah.
In this case, we have a prominent police union leader arguing against or taking a position in opposition to the health and safety measures of another public safety union,
right.
Being the IAFF, the firefighters union.
Right.
Literally just horse trading lives for his rental profits.
Yep. And it was very, very obvious if you watch the tape of the fire chief and against the tape of like the last time that he spoke about this at the city council. And I'm not faulting the fire chief for this. I think he was put in an incredibly unfair position by Kate Toomey et al. In the way that they cross-examined him for hours on end about this was exceedingly gross. And if this was a private sector job, I think all of them, there was grounds for termination there in the way that all of them behaved vis-a-vis this city employee. That said, it was pretty obvious someone got to him.
Yeah.
He was saying stuff a couple months ago that he was just refusing to say now about like the gaps in the like sprinkler coverage and like filling the fire gaps that are obvious if someone would just say them, but for some reason, and it could be that the reason was that the lead prosecutor of the cranks in this instance was the second highest vote getter of the body that keeps him in his job effectively, not like technically, functionally, but like effectively keeps
Yeah.
him in his job. And she is a walking stand-in for Rick Cipro and Anthony Petroni. And it's the same thing that that animates the fact that firefighters can technically do detail work per Massachusetts state law. This is something I learned recently.
Yeah.
Firefighters can technically do that, but it would be a local vote to allow for it, and there isn't a firefighters union on God's green earth that is going to spend political capital to try to take something away from the police union. There is a power dynamic there, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, this, I think you've identified it exactly right. And Chief Dyer is not stupid. And I think Chief Dyer knew going into this vote what I think we all knew, if we've been paying attention, which was that this was going to fail on a 6-5 vote.
Yeah.
No one in that room was there to be swayed or convinced in a direction or from a position that they hadn't already strongly latched onto.
Yes.
And this was going to go down, and it's not a smart place for him to spend political capital. I actually applaud the fact that he stood up as much as he did to fight a losing battle for his members and for the residents in the city that it's ultimately his department's obligation to protect.
Right. But, I mean, it is off screen in ways that we'll never fully know. The police union won. It is just
weirdly, they won an argument that they technically weren't even involved in.
Yeah, but they were involved in it.
Absolutely.
Kate Toomey does not take a stand like that on something without direction. This has been proven time and time again. Time and time again. Now, Chris, I looked over our notes for this episode, and I saw something that I decided that I was not going to investigate further because I want it explained to me what Roosevelt School and Batteries Unlimited Townie Shit means.
Yes.
Roosevelt School and Batteries Unlimited Townie Shit.
I am so glad. I'm so glad that you asked. I haven't
read this story. I don't know anything about it.
Well, here's a nice, delightful little thing. This is the exact same kind of political backwater townie bullshit, but with way, way, way lower stakes. So let's talk about it. So
hold on, maybe let's give it a minute.
Yeah, actually, give it a minute.
That
also
noise
because
is not a noise we can edit out.
Yeah,
This was a little bit, just long enough though, that we have forgotten about it. Neither of us made a note to talk about this, but the Three Stooges high-speed chase.
Oh yeah.
From Leicester to Worcester to Leicester to back again, and they got the wrong guy, and the cops did another high-speed chase that did not work out.
The cops did another high-speed chase from a place where they were watching a car, back and forth through the city at least 3 times for almost an hour. That ended at the same place that it started. Yeah. Insert Curb Your Enthusiasm music here. Yeah, we should talk about that a little bit. So we might be able to pull some clips in time, or not. I tried to record a couple of things that night. I was texting Bill, but I heard this chase start, and the thing we haven't talked about on the podcast is the thing that we co-wrote a couple of years ago
about the high-speed chase.
About high-speed chases in Worcester, including one that killed a few people, and also including one that I was very nearly involved in as a bystander, that ended violently with a car slamming into another car right in front of me. The car having just skidded past my car by about 2 feet away. And we wrote this article, and it was never in any way, shape, or form acknowledged by the city. But lo and behold, their practices for pursuits or for non-pursuits that looked a lot like pursuits still seem to drastically change. And we take full credit for that. I actually think we impacted policy, like all kidding aside. I think that was a little shot across the bow that they did not ever acknowledge. So this was the first chase of what I hear a lot now when I'm listening to the scanner is officers start following a car, chasing a car, and then saying that they're not pursuing the car, even though they are pursuing the car, because that's what following a car at more than posted rate of speed is.
It's not a pursuit, though.
Yeah, it's not. It ain't a pursuit if you don't say it is. So this happened. They said that this guy hit. Well, first they said he nearly hit, and then they said he hit a sergeant, I believe, on the gang squad. And man, you don't want to do that. You don't want to rile up the jump out boys. And the next close to an hour, I listened to this chase and actually watched it. It came by my apartment twice on the highway, and it was just a comedy of sequence of basically the command structure consistently telling them to stop chasing this car, to terminate the pursuit, and them saying that they weren't pursuing, but that they were following. And there's this battle, like, between the gang unit guys who just are not listening to their command structure. Like, they're just flagrantly continuing to do what they were just told not to do, by trying to use slightly different words for it. To the point that I believe the lieutenant who was trying to terminate the pursuit, like, came over the air and was, like, yelling for the sergeant of the gang squad to call him on his phone, like, immediately. So yeah, that happened. Luckily, no one got hurt this time.
Gotta find that clip. Well, I mean, come on. Does Delta Force take orders from some pencil pusher in the Pentagon?
Yeah. Can't have the bean counters getting in the way of, you driving 75 miles an hour on Park Ave for just like no good reason.
Yeah, no. Delta Force takes orders from the Fort Bragg of Worcester, Cicero's.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that happened. It got a really quick write up in the Telegram. I said to another friend at the time, I was like, they want this press release so bad. They have to get it. And since there was not some catastrophic ending to this, which, by the way, there very well could have been. This was them chasing a car. I mean, dozens of cruisers. It was hilarious watching it go by on the highway, because I would see the car and then a line of cop cars behind the car. And then more cop cars going the other way on the highway, trying to flip around to catch up with it.
Yeah.
And then even more cop cars coming up and down Summer Street trying to get onto the highway. It was like every cop in Worcester was doing. Luckily, it was like 10 o'clock on a Sunday night, I think.
Right. So it's like they... it just seems like the between that and the last major police story I did, it just seems like they, they might be a little bit more trouble than they're worth here. It seems like every time they activate, it's usually a false alarm, and they cause a massive disruption.
Yeah, and put a bunch of people in danger to catch a guy who ultimately drove back to the house he started at, where they were watching his car.
Yeah, that's so crazy. We have propaganded our way into a wildly outsized perception of the just basic capabilities of a municipal police department.
Yeah.
Like, we think that they... Like, the biggest mistake I think that we make, even talking about, like, the DOJ report and all of that, is that, like, our assessment of the malice versus incompetence question, it skews heavily towards malice for good reason.
Yes.
Because they are malicious, but they're also extremely incompetent.
Yeah.
There is like the decision to make a special forces police department, which is the gang squad, for a city like Worcester. Steve Sargent idea. I'm not sure if it was a pre-Israel or a post-Israel Steve Sargent idea. I think it was probably a pre-Israel. We do not need a gang squad. They have nothing to do, and if you totaled up the amount of lawsuits that the city has paid out gigantic settlements for, and you were able, and this would be a tremendous effort, but if you were able to section those off by what department of the police department fetched the lawsuit, the gang unit would be off the charts, dude. There's a video that's a part of a civil case against the gang squad, where it's like beautiful, perfect physical comedy where they try to pull a guy who isn't even the guy they were looking for out of a car while it's rolling from a dead stop at a stoplight.
Yeah.
And the car is just slowly turning while there's like 6 officers in their little tactical vests. How they got all their cute little kit on, and they're trying to pull this guy out of the car, and they're like punching him in the face, and then the car like touches the knee of an officer, and they charge him with like intent.
Oh, he hit me.
Yeah, he hit
Assault
me.
a dangerous weapon.
Yeah, like the cop may as well have gone down on the ground and done the Peter Griffin thing. It's just like and they charged this guy who they were the bad guys in this situation. You know, they ran up on him and tried to pull him out of a car, and didn't have the foresight to like maybe their first move isn't to like punch the guy in the face, but like put the car in park. Right? No one thought to do that. So it's a very funny. It's a in a football game when it's a punt and the punt is like within 10 yards of the end zone, so you have all the guys on the offensive special team. They're kind of like just dancing around the ball, waiting for it to get a little like as close to the end zone as possible. Like that's what it looked like, except it was a moving car, and all the cops were just shuffling around it. I mean, it's a horrible story, and it's going to cost the city millions. But man, that's video. I got to see if I have permission to share that one. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah. We also had the one last year where the cop hit himself with the car that he didn't put into park, trying to break up a fight at like Foster and or Franklin and Church Street.
Oh yeah, Worcester Sucks Instagram's best ever reel.
Yes.
When I set it to like circus music. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. Yeah, that's amazing because like I don't know, like I've done stupid things before, like stupid, embarrassing things where I was caught in a position where my brain wasn't functioning quite properly, and I made the situation worse by doing like the worst thing at the worst time. But man, that officer, the decision that he made to get out of the car in the first place while it's still in drive, but then not to get back into the car, but to try with all his earthly might
to hold an SUV in gear.
To hold it with his body from hitting the car in front of it, which is like, brother, it is literally no skin off your back if the city has to pay out an insurance claim for like a paint chip.
Yeah.
Like the car in front of it was like 3 feet away, right? Like the worst that would have happened was a love tap on the bumper.
It's just one of those like, oh, you actually do believe your own bullshit. Like you're so amped up on, I mean, maybe like whatever your literally substances you may be amped up on, but also you've just drank your own Kool-Aid so much that you're just like, oh, this car's interfering with my investigation. I'll just push it back. I'll use a series of deadly strikes.
Literally like a strong bad move.
I was half surprised he didn't shoot it.
Yeah, I know. And then the two kids who come over and genuinely try to help the cop. and the reluctance with which he gives the keys over, but eventually does just give the keys to the kids who one of them just gets in the driver's seat, puts it in park, and gets the officer out. But it's like man, like imagine being like, in your imagination, you are the protector of the community, right? And come up the like two kids who look like the sort of kids you should be beating up to protect the community, but because of your training. Like these are the dangers to the community, because they were two like 18 to 25-year-old kids with brown skin. Like that's what makes the cops Terminator fucking goggles blink, and they were just like, "Yo, give me the keys, brother."
Let me stop you from getting hit by your own car.
Let me stop you from getting literally smushed by your own car. Give me the keys. And so he gave them the keys to his cop car, which I guarantee you has at least a shotgun, probably an AR in it. And he gives a civilian the keys to his car, which is an insane amount of trust. Like it's such a taboo thing for like to touch an officer's gun, but like the car is more deadly than the gun.
Yeah,
right? Like,
it has guns in it.
It has guns in it, so it's like that's like kind of even worse.
Yeah,
that's like handing over your service weapon to be like, can you reload it?
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
all right,
yeah, we got to get back on track.
We got to get back to our county shit here.
We're going down memory lane.
All right, so the article begins. This is an article in the Telegram. The article begins, while most people may be enjoying their lunch break around noon, Luis Suarez is headed to Roosevelt Elementary School on Grafton Street to pick up his two grandkids, except dismissal isn't for 2 hours.
Wait. This is the battery bullshit one?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you ever been on that part of Grafton Street around the time that school lets out?
Oh yeah,
at Roosevelt.
It's a disaster.
It's insane.
Yeah.
There's like hundreds of cars
I used
long
to live over in that area.
car line that like has to line up in the road to do pickup at the school.
And it's a major. That's Route 140 or 122. It's a major throughway.
It's a major throughway, and also for lack of a better solution, at least up to this moment, that's what people have to do. They have to queue in a line for hours to pick up their kids from school.
Yeah, dude, I'd be hungover going to like the McDonald's over there or the Dunkies at noon, and like people are already lining up to get their kid at 2 at noon, right? Like there's already a queue. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I used to, I really only wind up there for 2 reasons. Well, I guess for one reason now, if I want seafood, I go to AP Fish, which is up there.
Oh, AP Fish is the best.
AP Fish is awesome.
Anybody listening to this that has never had the pleasure of walking into AP Fish, my dad would, like, my parents live in Hopedale, which is like 45 minutes away, and my dad would drive to AP Fish to get fish.
AP Fish rules, man.
Yeah.
If I really want to have a nice little whitefish treat, I go there and get myself some dayboat cod that came right in off the boat that morning.
Oh, dayboat
cod, baby. All right. So, beginning in June of 2023, Suarez noticed a man putting traffic cones up along the road outside of Batteries Unlimited, a small business neighboring Roosevelt. So the other reason I used to go up there was to go to Gibson's Natural Pet, which unfortunately has closed. It was a little local pet
Gibson's
store.
Natural Pet closed?
Yes, they did,
unfortunately. I love that store.
Yeah.
Every time I'd go there, I'd get a credit card fraud alert.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My go-to, I try to get as much of my pet stuff locally as I can because there are cool little local shops. When I first got Dave, I started getting his food at Fuzzy Pants, which is on Shrewsbury Street. After I went in, and the guy at Fuzzy Pants spent, I don't know, an hour and a half talking through dog food with me, gave me like 15 different samples of food for my dog to try.
That's the one that's up the side street a little bit?
Yeah, yep.
See, I've driven by it a million times, walked by it a million times, and never gone in there.
It's just a weird little neighborhood pet store. It was in my neighborhood at the time. I lived up the hill, Yeah, so that's my go-to spot. But if ever they were closed, or the groomer wasn't available there, I'd go up to Gibson's Natural, which unfortunately closed down this spring. So Batteries Unlimited is right next door to that, and they have to deal with this queue of cars every day.
Yes.
This is basically a back and forth between people who wait in the line and the person at Batteries Unlimited who puts these cones out to stop people from blocking the entrance to his business.
Right.
There is apparently a solution in the works to this, some $1.6 million parking improvement thing that is supposed to fix it, but it is behind schedule. So good job, George Russell.
You don't say.
Yeah, who could possibly imagine? Suarez says he previously spoke to Russell, who told him Gracia had gotten permission by Raleigh, the current DPW administrator, to continue putting the traffic cones out. But Suarez says that when he tried to confirm this with Raleigh, he was told that Raleigh had not given Gracia permission.
Dude, that is such a messy paragraph of hearsay bullshit.
Yes. So I'm gonna keep going a little more, because this just gets right into the heart of it. Gracia denied that he had spoken to Russell about the dispute, saying, Russell doesn't give permission, so that would be false. However, Gracia did say that former Commissioner of Public Works, Jay Fink, had given him permission in the past, saying, if it really was illegal, they would have stopped me a long time ago.
Okay, pause. No, they wouldn't have. You can do illegal shit in Worcester all the time. No one stops you from doing anything. When Russell was asked, dude, who wrote this?
Let me get up there.
Oh, I'm not picking on
Afton Pratt.
Yeah, I'm not. She's a new.
Yeah, I was going to say she
reporter,
seems like
and it seems like she did a lot of hustling on this story, which is great.
She talked to the people on the ground. Yeah, imagine, God, is she from around here?
I don't believe so. No, I've never spoken with her, but I don't believe so.
Imagine you're a green gumshoe reporter and you get put on the fucking Batteries Unlimited.
Dude, yeah, you parachute in, right? From anywhere else that's guaranteed to be at least a little bit more normal. And the assignment editor of the day says, yeah, go on down to Batteries Unlimited and sort out this completely inscrutable townie drama. And, that classic journalism principle, get everyone's side. Mm-hmm. You want to do that? And it seems that she did here. But, let this be a lesson to you. No one is right, typically, in these situations.
No
one knows what's going on.
These are all of the involved parties are dealing with the consequences of municipal incompetence. That is the unifying factor here, is that they have a school set up where a bunch of people take their kids to and from school by car, which is its own, issue.
Yeah.
And there's just not adequate infrastructure for it. And there hasn't been for years. Right. Years and years and years, this has been a problem. And so what you wind up with is people waiting in that line who are victims of this incompetence versus a business owner of a place that sells batteries having to put cones out, and people saying it's illegal to put the cones out, and him saying, nah, it's not illegal. And Jay Fink told me I could back when he was here. And also, if it was illegal...
4 DPW directors ago.
If it was illegal, they would have told me to stop putting out the cones. But also, if they tell me to stop putting out the cones, I'm going to just put cars out on the street. And cars out on the street, I think, is illegal, but people are already parking there in their cars. So if they can do it, I can do it. And what you have here is like the much more expanded version of the putting a chair in your parking space after you shovel it out kind of unwritten rules of municipal living, city living.
Right, but many shades darker.
Many shades darker.
Because it is a man-made problem, and it also, like, I don't know when it really started, this, like, lining up 2 hours before to pick your kid up from school, but yet you have to wonder how much, the extremely deadly, especially for children, pedestrian summer we just had factors into this, you imagine that the area is, genuinely safe to walk around in. How many parents would, maybe feel comfortable letting their kid walk a quarter mile?
Yeah, why isn't this an area where kids in a neighborhood can walk to a neighborhood school without, getting plowed over by a Ford F-350 with a, front bumper that's about dead in line with the height of a child's forehead?
Yeah. Well, hey, listen to this transition. This is what we really get paid the big bucks for here. City council meeting on Tuesday. There are about roughly estimated 3 items of significance on the agenda. One of which is police drones, so you know how that's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for the great report. No questions, Your Honor. Good luck with the rest of your day. Keeping America great. And the other one is Mr. Raleigh, quoted in here, coming after George Russell. apparently, the article does give the impression that Steve Raleigh and George Russell are beefing, which I know to be the case, except it's more of a one-sided beef where Steve Raleigh is just trying to do his fucking job that he got hired for, and George Russell is a pain in his ass. He has a report on about all of the planned future road work and street and sidewalk projects. In this, 2 months ahead of the election, where we're apparently being told that these current councilors want to get back to the business.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Our regularly scheduled programming of streets and sidewalks. And might they do the same thing that they do every time this issue comes up, and actively sabotage a competent traffic engineer's attempts to fix what's wrong with this city that makes it so unsafe for pedestrians? I think that might be the number one thing that happens in that.
Yeah, were I a betting man, that's where the smart money would be going. I
haven't read the report yet because of the reasons discussed at the top of the show, but I'll link to it, and I think it's going to be very interesting to watch the meeting on Tuesday and keep a sabotage tally of how many times our anti-sprinkler counselors are also anti-traffic calming, anti-bike lane, and anti-pedestrian safety infrastructure, and pro-speed hump. These guys, they love it. They love
the speed humps.
They love the hump, and it has. It would be a baseless accusation to say that their love of the speed hump comes from the vote trading potential of district councilors deciding where they go. Like, that would be like an outrageous accusation.
Yeah, I that seems beyond.
It's not like it's the only traffic feature that's left up to the political choices of individual city councilors in the entire city.
Yeah.
So where they go is completely nonsensical and abrupt, and comes without warning and accomplishes little.
When I encounter one of those anew, which is happening more and more these days.
There's one on Flag Street now that's unreal.
Yeah, I encountered one over in that general area. It wasn't on Flag, but it was nearby, and it's to the point now where I immediately flag the nearest 4 addresses and then try to remember, usually unsuccessfully, to go home and look up who lives at those addresses.
Yeah,
because that's the city at work here.
That is the joys of our electoral system. That we have put any responsibility into their hands. is let the speed humps be an indictment of that idea. They do a good enough job on their own, but short of a progressive takeover of the city council, I think that we need to be making sure that they forfeit as much responsibility and authority as they possibly can, while still convinced that they're doing something.
Yeah, obviously.
which has been like the deep state of City Hall has been at work at that for a long time,
Yeah, just, I thought this was a perfect little encapsulation of a bunch of people being driven slowly crazy and into hatred of each other because of the full-time job that they have battling each other in a school pickup type situation that has been an issue for just like years,
right.
And allegedly is being fixed. I don't know. We'll see when the fix finally.
To the tune of $1.6 million.
Yeah.
If that detail is not insult to injury, like this thing that this very basic municipal service that normal places have figured out. Have been expected to have figured out by now. Like, how long have there been public schools?
A couple minutes. Yeah.
And, picking up the kids and dropping the kids off, kind of one of the most basic components of that. Just, making sure kids get to and from school safely. Other places that is not a wedge that's tearing a community apart.
Yeah.
But,
not for years and years and years and years while nothing's done about it.
Yeah. The battery, the purveyors of batteries in other municipalities are not at war with the elementary school parents.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. This place is so unserious. And that's what we love about it. That's what we love about this show. Got to take a deep breath sometimes. I know I get too worked up. A lot of this shit just really is genuinely funny, and that's the best part about it.
Yep. Yeah, it's it's a real laugh or cry situation, and why not laugh?
You gotta laugh because laughing is fun and crying blows, and you're kind of doing the same thing. So that's the promise of this show. We will almost always laugh instead of cry, as something that warrants one of those responses. But I think, Chris, that's a pretty good place to leave it for today. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that can wrap it up. Bill can throw it in if he wants to, but I threw a little palate cleanser in for the end. There's a video. I found now a bunch of videos of this guy at this elephant refuge in Thailand who just plays the piano for elephants, and I linked.
It says I'm reading right here. It says 80-year-old elephant hears Claire de Lune.
Yeah, and it's just a guy playing a beautiful rendition of Claire de Lune to an 80-year-old elephant who is almost entirely blind, and it's. The elephant is not present in the audio. I did a great job picking another thing that doesn't really translate well to audio. I mean, the music is beautiful, but yeah. I will link the video, and you should just click the video because you have to watch the elephant. The elephant, the beauty of it is actually the elephant does not make any noise. The elephant is completely enraptured by the Debussy, or however you say his name. Debussy. That's how we're going to say it.
Claude Debussy.
Debussy's great.
The greatest composer, the Swan. Have you heard the Swan? It's amazing. Is that Debussy? Dude, I love Debussy. Okay, get us out of here. Get me out of here.
Get us out of here.
Debussy.